Heck yes, they do. Now, I am no expert on this subject by any means, but I am a girl who's been wearing her Prism glasses for about 4 months now. My well-being and my quality of life has been enhanced astronomically. I could not be more thrilled with my glasses or more grateful for them. And so I just like to share my experience and hopefully assist you in your decision-making process if Prism glasses are something that you've been recommended or something that you've been researching and think that they might be for you. Here's my little story. In April of 2020, I had a car crash. I had a panic attack and fainted at the wheels, pretty gnarly, but miraculously I came out of it physically unscathed. There wasn't really any collateral, save for a pole that I ran over. But I was left with a whole bunch of symptoms that greatly reduced my quality of life and stuck around for such a long time that by the time I came up with these as a solution, by the time I found that these might be a solution and then they turned out to actually be the solution, by the time all that happened, like 16 months later, I was such a mess. Like I was physically deteriorating and mentally deteriorating. Wasn't doing great and was really desperate to find an answer and was happy to like throw as much money as I needed at anybody that could identify what the heck was going on with me, because up to that point, no one had, and I had not been able to figure it out either. I had like the most, it was a lot of very unsettling kind of symptoms, very discombobulating. So I had this sensation that my brain was floating off to one side while the rest of my skull hung out on the other side. It felt like nothing was aligned. It felt like everything was just floating. It was always like that. I would derealize pretty good, especially if I drove. Yeah, initially I'd drive and I would derealize, and it was terrifying. Derealizing, if you're not familiar, like for me it was manifesting as just a very dreamlike state. It felt like I was in a dream, which, it's a nice warm fuzzy feeling and all, but you do not want that when you are driving a car. You want to be focused, you want to be connected. So that wasn't fun. Headaches, just 24/7 chronic headaches on this side of my head. And there was a whole bunch of other stuff too, but it all amounted to one very messed up human. My nervous system was jacked, absolutely jacked. It was a rough time. I lost myself for a bit there, life's been very interesting since that car crash, I will say, but it feels like I've absolutely turned a corner in the last month, so very, very pleased to be saying that. Anyway, this isn't what this video is about. I'll talk about the car crash at another point, but today we're just gonna have a chat about my glasses. So what do Prism glasses do? Prism glasses refract light into your eyes in such a way that, I've jumped the gun. I always do this. I always ruin the punchline before I get the whole joke out. Not that this is a joke. This video is going fantastically, isn't it? All right, let me go back a step. So, I had all these symptoms, and everything that I was researching, everything that all the practitioners that I saw were telling me, everything seemed to point to it being an anxiety disorder, and that all of these symptoms were just symptoms of anxiety. And one practitioner I saw did acknowledge, or she's a leader in this field, so it wasn't even a matter of her acknowledging. I went to her specifically because of this, because she understands that anxiety is rarely an actual emotional disorder. It's more something is out of whack in your body and needs to be addressed. I tried a whole bunch of different protocols and lifestyle changes and just got no relief, nothing. So by the time that I found out about these, about 16 months into this whole thing, I was just at my wit's end. I thought I was stuck like this for life, and I couldn't comprehend how I would be going on. Yeah, a bit dark, hey. So one day I stumbled across Binocular Vision Distortion and everything clicked into place. It all made sense. I tracked down a specialist down here in Melbourne. I got really lucky. This feels a little bit like serendipity because this dude is just such a gem of a human and very much like my people. So little plug because I'm just so impressed. Dr. Michael Christian is his name. This is his book In Focus based on his PhD. It is an absolutely paradigm shifting little publication. I'd say if you're a fan of Dr. Joe Dispenza's work, you probably want to check this out. It's very much along the same lines. It's worth it for the writing style alone. Like, he's got a very poetic way of phrasing some quite complicated concepts, and it's an extraordinary read. So I tracked him down. His practice is called Prism Optics, if you want to Google that, or I'll leave a link down below. You can have a read about what he does. So he's got quite a unique system that incorporates prisms, this prism lens technology, but also like this whole host of other stuff. The way he diagnoses is it's not the way that an optometrist typically would. It borrows from kinesiology in some parts, and also I think it just borrows from quite a few different disciplines, and it's quite a fascinating process to be a part of and to be a participant in. I'm so excited to go back in for my next appointment in March. Can't wait. Anywho, walked into his office, did all the tests, and I don't know, I actually never got a diagnosis out of him. What's cool about him is that he's less focused on what's wrong and more focused about the possibilities and the potential for moving forward and getting the quality of life back and enhancing everything. And I kind of love that. Like, why focus on labels when you can focus on outcomes? It's a great attitude. So I never really got clarification on if it is binocular vision distortion that I've got or not. But if it is, and I still suspect that it is, binocular vision distortion is where one eye is slightly misaligned from the other eye. And for me, this would have been caused in the car crash, though I didn't actually hit my head. I still would have put enough stress or created enough, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would have moved my skull fast and hard enough that it would have shaken things up in there. Leaving me with one eye out of whack. And what that results in is that your brain gets your brain's job suddenly becomes a lot harder when it comes to visual processing. What you see in front of you is now coming in as two different pictures that your brain then needs to put together as one coherent image. And that is a lot of work for it. And that puts a lot of strain on your nervous system. And as we all know, having a stressed out, overworked nervous system is less than ideal. Hence, I felt like I was absolutely deteriorating as a human being by the time I got to Michael's office. And what happened when I put the glasses on is just extraordinary. It was like I could breathe again. I felt whole again. I know it sounds over the top, but this is absolutely my experience. I just had ease and I could relax, and it's just been getting better and better. Like every day it improves, and I'm thriving now. Where just 4 months ago I was breaking down, and now I am thriving, and I really do owe an extraordinary amount of that to these glasses, because they allowed my body to get back on with just functioning, and it freed up my mind Yeah, it gave me space. I will never forget the first day that I was walking around in these glasses. I hadn't realized, but I developed this habit of because seeing things in front of me was so stressful, I had just been walking around with my head down for 16 months. I couldn't bear to look in front of me for any long periods of time, or like look at any details on, say, like a tree that I passed, or look at the grass. Like all of it would just stress me out, and difficult to articulate because there wasn't any like obvious, it wasn't blurry, it wasn't like obviously out of whack, just something wasn't quite right. And now it's like really obvious. Whenever I take these glasses off, I get that stressed out feeling again. I start to get a little bit edgy again, and something just seems not quite right. Just not quite right. And then I put them back on, and everything's easy. So what I really, really love about these is that if you've heard of neuroplasticity, and this term has been, this term has been part of the zeitgeist for quite a while now, ever since the brain that changes itself came out a few years back. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to heal itself, and to not just heal itself, but to actually form new connections and grow and evolve. And so these glasses, they assist that process. The idea is that these are not for life at all. The idea is that I actually get out of these in a few years, maybe even sooner, who knows. The idea is that you, every single time you have an appointment, you go down in prescription. I've been talking for a while, so I'm not sure, but I'll repeat it again just in case I did already say how they work. So they refract light. There's all these prisms in there. I've only skimmed the surface of understanding this, to be honest, but I get the most important aspect of it. So basically, you got prisms, they refract light in such a way that your brain receives one coherent image. I do feel like I've said this already. It takes the pressure off your brain to have to try and interpret these two different images and put it together as one, and just feeds it in as one cohesive image. Over time, that is what your brain becomes used to seeing. It was described to me by someone as like braces for your eyes, which is a pretty disturbing visual if you try and imagine it. But yeah, braces for your eyes. So it's basically just, over time, that becomes your brain's reality. And that becomes hardwired because your brain's so used to seeing that. It's gently guiding everything back into alignment. And I absolutely love that. I love that. I have a deep reverence for the human body and its potential and what it can do. And it's never sat well with me, even from when I was a little kid. It's never sat well with me that glasses are A, permanent, and B, actually weaken your eyesight over time and cause you, like, I don't like the idea of being reliant on a crutch. And so the fact that these are more of a tool in the healing process, and they're just assisting you to optimize, like, that to me is super exciting. And absolutely the attitude and the sort of the paradigm of health and that I would love to see far more of in the future. And I myself have been inspired to go and study quantum health next year as a result of this experience. So it does just go to show that everything happens for a reason, and that there's silver linings in everything. I love having that perception of life, that everything's happening for you, and it's really powerful to try and remember that in the rough times. And there's been a lot of rough times the last couple of years, but I always keep reminding myself that every time I've gone through hard times, when I look back on it retrospectively, I understand the lessons that I learned. I understand what it opened up the doors to, or what it was a stepping stone to. And that is my review of Prism glasses. Yeah. I hope that was helpful. I really do hope that was helpful, and I would love to hear any experiences that people have had with them. positive or negative, I suppose. And yeah, if you wanna check out someone that's kind of revolutionizing the field a little bit, then check out Michael Christian. Although I'm sure there really is, yeah, there's a few other people in this space, but he's the dude that has left the best impression on me by far. I froth any talk of the quantum realm being put into like tangible real world terms, and I'm excited for that to be a bigger part of the health narrative going forward. Once again, I hope this video has helped you, and I'm sorry I've kept going off on tangents. Yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.